real estate provides a great source of wealth. Now, my grandfather unfortunately died of a heart attack when he was pretty young. He was in he was about 64, and I'm, being the youngest grandchild, didn't get a lot of time with him because I was very young when he died. However, the legacy that he left of real estate and the trust that he built, one trust, for example, was to help the grandchildren go through college and to start us out with our own houses. And it was, a shopping mall. So when that sold, I had to buy real estate in order to not pay taxes.
Right.
So that was kind of my first foray as a young adult into figuring out rental housing and all that. But that was the foundation of, where I grew up. My father's an architect, my brother's an architect. So I grew up in a household that really believed in real estate, and also it believed in being an entrepreneur. So I, from a very young age, wasn't looking to work for somebody else. I was looking to develop my own means of wealth and my own means of understanding business, which of course takes a long time. And one thing they always told me growing up is, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So as I was developing my businesses, I was always looking for, like I had an S Corp in my 20s because I was always trying to shelter taxes and figure out how to do these things. So just really started out as an entrepreneur. Now, interestingly enough, I didn't go into real estate when I first started as a young adult. My father saw the trend in information technology, and he knew that I was a very strong thinker and problem solver, which of course works great for real estate, but I became a programmer. So I was a computer programmer, and then IT, I became a systems architect. So I went the technology route and did that for 20 years and, loved that career. But what happened is the IT industry tanked in 2000. Everything was being outsourced to, India, Taiwan, China, and it was just everything. The wages were terrible all of a sudden. So I said, I'm not working for those wages. And my husband was in IT, and so he didn't have as many options as I did. So I did what anybody would do, and I started a photography studio. So
awesome.
So I had always loved photography on the side, but felt like I couldn't pursue it. I'm kind of one of those people that's both art and science. So I brought all of my business learning from working in corporations and my IT learning, my computers, and started a digital photography studio. So I'm a people person. I love working with people, love working with children and babies. So I did that, and I was extremely successful at it. But what happened is, being extremely successful, the US government comes along and they want to partner with you and take most of what you make.
Yeah.
So what I had to do is dig deeper into real estate, because my taxes were ridiculous. I felt like I was just working to pay taxes. Like everything just went right back out in taxes. So that was kind of a moment for me where I realized, you've got to go back to that, it's not what you keep, it's not what you make, it's what you keep, and use alternate forms, because the business plan I was working with didn't offer me any form of tax shelters. And it was not a good business model for several reasons. So, one being that there was no tax benefits to me that I was able to really dig in on. And the second being that it wasn't scalable. So even though I loved photography and I was, quite good at it, I was one of the top photographers in the Bay Area. I decided this can't be my thing. And so I deliberately scaled out of photography into real estate full time. So I set a plan. And again, because real estate scales, real estate has all of the elements that I was looking for to create the life that I wanted as an entrepreneur. And I could still use my people skills, and I can take pictures anytime I want. I'm still a photographer. I just don't have to do it for my daily bread.
Wow. That's awesome. So what part of Southern California?
The Valley, actually. San Fernando Valley. Uh-huh.
So I grew up in Inglewood. So we were on the opposite sides of the,
sides of the hill. Yeah, absolutely.
But that was a long time ago. I always tell people, by the way, one of the greatest things that you can do in this country is drive Highway 1 from LA to San Francisco and take time and stop at the little towns and that's one of the coolest things I think you can do in this country.
Yeah, and I would say keep going after San Francisco all the way up to Eureka, because that's
Really? Okay.
amazing territory up there. We love Mendocino and
Oh,
those
yeah, yeah.
areas, and then you get into some of the wine country.
Ah,
It's amazing. That's my favorite part of California. Although I do love Santa Barbara and
right.
San Diego. There's some great places down there too.